Hey guys, welcome back. It's Grimreaper coming at you for another video for Raid Shadows. Hopefully doing well, and hopefully you're looking after yourself and having a fantastic week to wherever you are in the world. So we're back on my account today, and we're going to be asking questions. Is Chimera easier or harder? Has it been buffed or has it been nerfed? And that is what we're going to try and solve today. And I'm going to give you my personal feeling and my personal thought once I've ran my Chimera to key. I've ran my Ultra Nightmare already, and I'm going to just be talking mainly today on my general experience with my team without changing anything, and how I can probably maybe make my team a bit better in the future to maybe gain some more trials. My team does 14 trials, and it does roughly around about 230 to 270 depending on the RNG of my team. So we will be talking about a couple of things in today's video, and going over a few things as well. So we're going to go over like the full run, we'll do a full breakdown, then I'm going to play it on the showcase so you guys can see that on the timeline stamps, which I'll post in the comments, and then we'll go over the builds and everything as well. This is a very high-end team. I have been playing this game a long time, and I've also been a big factor of grinding Curse City every single rotation other than the first rotation. It's the only rotation I have missed. So the gear is extremely high, and it is very hard to probably copy for most players overall until the Great Hall is released anyway in Live Arena, which will need around about 87,000 medals from the lovely Live Arena content. I know that some of you guys really enjoy that. I will be dropping a Live Arena video before this or just after this video, depending on the thumbnail artist. Let me go get the team. We'll do a full breakdown and we'll have a look at a few things as well. Rightio, so let's get into the run. I'm only going to be covering the trials and potential trials that may be doable overall, and then I'll give you the honest feedback towards the end of this video if Chimera has got easier, if it's been nerfed or buffed overall. So we're going to go over this. We're going to skip straight to the RAM form now. I will go over a couple of key points in my team in case you guys want to copy it. So just to try and help to understand the team and how I set up for trials, because it's a manual run, which is the same for most runs. So you pretty much do most of this stuff like Marius A2, then Marius A3. Obviously, you do the defense down and weaken. LYDIA needs to be the fastest. Then we do the counter, the ally attack, and then obviously NEKMO's A3 and A2 when you can. And then obviously between the rotations of the forms, you're going to try and save the defense down and weaken and a decrease speed, etc. to land this, and then you're able to go to 2 turns whilst the boss goes 1. Some rotations are weak affinity for NEKMO, so that can affect your damage and the trials as well, depending on the rotations and the RNG factor of that. So this is probably my best rotation out of all of the rotations for my team. So we will come into around about turn 5, which is when I start thinking about saving my abilities. And the kind of the only 2 things that I try and do here is save LYDIA's abilities like defense down and weaken, and I'll try and save the decreased speed and the extra turn from NEKMO, and then mainly play the revive on death, because I found playing a revive on death with my team, NEKMO is able to get back up, which is what I want him to be targeted by the RAM form overall. So that is consistently a very useful thing for myself to kind of do. So I try and save that, and I also try and save the ally attack as well for some of the missions, and also I don't want extra damage to face the RAM form. So that's a couple of things. So you'll see here I didn't play the A3 because, sorry, the A2 on CARDIEL, because the boss wasn't ready to take his turn, and I knew I was going to get another full turn. So this can be a little bit of an RNG factor on the reflex and refresh, and the impulse on NEKMO. And he also has the relic, with gives me extra turns as well. So there's a lot of RNG factors in my favor with that as well. So that is pretty useful. Coming in and doing our stuff, so you can see that this is going to be the most important, and that allows me to not waste my revive on Nekrid and focus on putting like bot boss back up, etc. So it's really important that it goes on him, and he has the lowest critical damage out of the whole team. It's pretty easy with my Duchess being fully awakened, to be honest, so I haven't had to do any shenanigans or anything with her. So you'll see here we'll play the E3 and we'll start getting ready for the trials. So I can do 6 trials on this form. The main trial that I'll work on first will be the middle trial, which will be the increased accuracy and land 7 debuffs on the boss. You would think playing this here that would help with the True Fear trial. It doesn't. I've already tested it. LYDIA, I open with a 1 against the Ram form, so he self cleanses and I don't waste any of the abilities on her. I do have increased accuracy, so it will count as a buff as long as it doesn't get 3%ed. So you're kind of able to do my thing. Dropping decreased speed, even with that increased accuracy, is really important to slow this boss down to allow me to do my trials. And then it's just about a case of focusing on the first trial, which I try and always prioritize the trials, and I've always found going for the accuracy up trial is going to be the main advantage. That is great for my team, because the middle trial I can do, but it can be a little bit sweaty overall. I would say the trials on the Ram form are a little bit easier. There wasn't much difference, if I'm being honest, but it was a little bit easier to try and land it. Some weeks, you know, I run my key first time. I ran this was my third time trying, and I was able to complete it. Some weeks I'm running this team for up to 4 hours because RNG is horrible. That is a very rare occasion, and that normally happens to me on the best rotations, because on the rotations where we're weak affinity and stuff, I'm normally in there for like 1 or 2 hours trying to land the trials, etc. I could do 14. I aim for about 12. I try not to sweat about it too much unless I'm missing the mythical pieces. So you can see here we're working on the middle one. We're in good and harmony right now with the turn 7. You'll see here we'll play the accuracy up as well, but there's no reason for me to do nuke. We do a lot of damage on my A1, so there is a lot of damage increase for Marius's A1 on his team. We've got 3 pieces. We've got 3 champions in 9-piece protection, which increases my damage more, and it does help me against the lion form and overall damage as well to hit her. Marius's A1 is average for the multipliers, so it's not a great multiplier overall, and it's also worth noting that Marius's A2 is only godlike, so it is a triple hitter. So you can see here we did the first trial, then we'll move into this one. Once this is done, I will try and prioritize the True Fear one, and try and also collect this one as well as we can, and try and line everything up. Now with the critical rate buff, if I can get it, I will get it. I don't prioritize it. It has got a little bit easier. I don't think we've got it in this run, unfortunately, but it does make it easier, and it doesn't reset. The Veil ones does reset, and the True Fear one can be a little bit daunting if you're getting a little bit unlucky, especially if that fear starts proccing and he gets that turn meter increase. To be honest, like the turn meter increase from 50 to 25% is nice, but I feel like there should be no turn meter increase. You want to try and encourage him to fear him, and yeah, I think that the fear should cancel out the turn meter increase, to be honest. But hey ho, with the changes made to honestly to the fear ability, as you can see there, didn't do anything for me. I still kill my Marius after 1 shot, so yeah, you can see there with the veils, etc. I got a little bit unlucky not to clear the veils, because my Marius can hit from anywhere from 900 to around about 1.5, 1.6. I have seen it once or twice hit like a 1.7, but there's a lot of RNG again in that, like the cat gaze, etc. So you can see that we just failed that one, which is a little bit annoying, but I feel like we do complete it overall. And again, you know, Cardiel can be replaced with Lady Mikage or Farrakhan of Fat as well, and then you can replace Duchess with like Pythian or what's his name, or Eva as well. So obviously they both have advantages and disadvantages. Duchess is the best one out of all 3, because she's more consistent with trials for like the veils and increased attack, etc., which will go on to later trials. and I just prefer Duchess overall, I guess maybe because I have a bigger blessing. So you can see here we're doing quite well on our trials. I try not to increase too much because I don't want to increase my damage. Increased defense does increase Marius's damage on the E1, and I've become quite a bit of a pro running this team now after a few months. You kind of get easier running it, and we do get some decent mythical mats this session. And again, you know, you can do Nightmare twice, Ultra Nightmare twice on this to get the mythical mats. I actually need the Starstones, so I still hit Nightmare as well. So you can see there, we're looking quite good. I noticed when I got a revive on death, I will try and do the nukes if I can fit in to multiple trials as well, which is like the best way for me to kind of work it. And you can see there we get the all the advantages. We're on turn at 10, so we get a little bit unlucky not to complete this. Now, if I had the defense down and weaken, this would have helped more on the critical rate trial, but again, it is what it is with that. Obviously, as well, if we get lucky with extra turns with that, then that's pretty juicy as well. I don't think we clear any more trials. I think maybe we get a 4th trial. No, we just get 3 trials to start off with. So we're going to go into the lion form now and kind of talk about the lion form. The only thing that I do with before I turn into the lion form is I try and save the from the ultimate form is I try and save the ally attack to help out on one of the trials on right on the lion. Now the lion form could be a little bit difficult for one of the trials, which we'll speak about in a second with Marius, and that's damage is generally due to the damage multiplier. So you can see that we cleared this one and this one pretty easily. We do get actually quite close to clearing this one. I've never cleared this one before, but this was changed quite dramatically, and actually I got to around about 160. I can show you the screenshot now because I don't want to show the whole run, right? But you can see here when we completed it, I got quite close. I'm gonna try testing now removing some refresh on NEKMO with Blood Shield to see if we can try and gain this, because Duchess is putting out shields, etc. And it's all coming from Duchess's A1, to be honest. And you get close. I was only like 40k off. So you can see the reason why I saved ally attack is because this ability here, you can't use enemy max HP, etc. You need a number of buffs on you, and buffs on you as well, which is really, really annoying. Now my team is quite heavy for buffs, which is quite nice. And yeah, it's a little bit annoying, but it works quite well with the ally attack, and I will always try and skip like one nuke on A2 just so I can get ally attack in. Now my Marius hits for anywhere between 200 to 300 K on the E1 quite consistently throughout the run. He's got Boss Slayer to increase his damage on the E1. It doesn't increase his damage on the E2. We use the E3 quite a lot, which will increase the damage on the E1 as well. And then like protection sets and Farad sets will increase Marius's damage on the E1, which helps. And a big factor as well that I found with my personal experience doing takeovers in Chimera is cruelty. Cruelty on one of your champions, the bigger the cruelty, the more important it is as well for Marius's A1, which I found to find it successful. Now, if you're unable to unlock this trial, which is quite difficult and probably the hardest one on the ram form for on the lion form for this team, then you're able to do trial 2 quite easily on the normal side, and then trial 3 is quite easy as long as you have like a counter attack or ally attacker. Obviously, if you run in this team, you're going to have one of the 3 ally attackers I mentioned that have the critical rate or the critical damage buff to help you complete the stuff on the ram form as well. You can use other ally attacks as well. Just bearing in mind you won't be able to complete the trials on the ram form with the critical rate or critical damage buff unless you can kind of get something else in there instead. So this one is quite doable. We're going to speed this up just a tiny amount. So we'll see there, we'll land that, then I'll do the ally, I'll do the nuke, and I'll land the second trial. And now we will move on to the counter attack trial, which is a mythical mats again. I think the second one was mythical mats as well. So yeah, mythical mats, and we completed this one. Honestly, it's just a straight up nuke. with that ability, so that's pretty nice. And then we'll do the ally attack. We're a little bit unfortunately here because I only do around about 400k. I've seen this honestly do around about 600 to 700 damage. I've lost a little bit damage on my team though because I've built in like more resistance and etc. So LYDIA and CARDIEL has lost a bit of damage over time as well for that, but it's made the trials a bit easier and the team to run to be easier as well. So you can see there we move on to the ram form in 7 trials, which is pretty nice, and then we'll face the Viper form. The Viper form hasn't changed at all. Again, with the ram form, with the ultimate form into the Viper form, and try not to put any buffs up at all on turn 25, especially block buffs, because it can be decimating for this. So you can see we leave the increased accuracy and he lands it and lands all the poisons, and I'll leave the cleanse on CARDIEL to kind of be able to do that. We'll play the defense down in here. We'll play the defense down a weaken because I say to decrease speed, so I'm able to come back round to lock him out of all his shenanigans. So that is one thing as well that we'll take into consideration. And then we'll do our bits and bobs here. And we'll land all the trials. Now, trials on the ram form are really easy. Sorry, on the Viper form, I don't want to keep saying ram. And you can see there, we completed them really, really easy as well. So there was nothing too much. We only complete 3 on this. I don't have any toxic sets. I tried toxic sets on like LYDIA and stuff. Honestly, it just fills up the bar too much, and then I'm missing some of the key points, which slows my damage overall, same as on the other forms, which doesn't make my life any easier. So that's why I don't run a toxic set in this team. I have tested it and tried it, but just wasn't successful. I didn't like it, so I kind of stayed with what I like. And then really everything else was pretty simple. We moved back into the ram form in second. Again, same stuff as well, save them the block buffs and a revive on death, so we can play it. So you can see here, we won't play this here. We'll play probably the 8-1 because I do save the ally attack as well because of the trial as well for that. So it kind of makes sense just to save them, and that's where I kind of run my team. You can see here I'm thinking about stuff and using it to my advantage. And then changing this into the way. So you can see here we're going into the ram form. We have the revive on death and the block buffs, doing our shenanigans, and then it's pretty much rinse and repeat, being very successful. This trial is very easy to do, and we do get a little bit close actually to this trial, which was, I've only completed it once before, and I feel like we have to get this trial down on the first form, and I feel like we can do this trial now. And I think it's only had one change. I think it was 8, potentially 9. I can't remember because I don't really tend to focus on it too much, and it is a bit it's been bugged quite a few rotations as well, because I know that I've cleared it, but it's never worked right. So it's really, really annoying. But you generally need to try and complete this on the first form, and I don't worry about it too much because if I did, I've been running Chimera for hours and hours, and I just don't have that type of time to put into it. So I kind of just grab the 14 and then run for that. So I know I can always get 15 with my team. It's just I don't put that much effort in this specific little trial and lose too much sleep on this. So you can see here we'll complete these 2 trials, which are pretty simple, and I'll make this work overall. So we'll see we'll be able to be successful. Alright, so we're successful in landing the trials on the ram form. I think I should show you I was close to doing that trial. So I think potentially now I can get this team able to do 16 trials. Unfortunately, I don't show you here. I know I did check it throughout the recording. It will be somewhere on the recording. But I've been talking a while already, and this will be a very long video. So let's skip to the lion form. Again, with the lion form, I'm basically waiting with the ally attack to complete the last trial on my team, which is normally 14 a week. You see that I don't do the ally attack straight away because I'm waiting for the defense down and weaken, which does increase Marius's damage quite dramatically. before we do that. There is no rush, but I do want to try and complete that trial as quick as possible, because obviously that affects my CHIMERA damage as well. So that's one thing that I kind of like to look into. So we're going to go ahead, and you'll see here we got 556, I guess, and then we'll come through and you can see there we're on 92, and we do complete the last trial as well. So there might be a little bit of messing around potentially with the team over the next couple of weeks. I might wait until there's a free gear removal for like 4 days. I just don't think that the gear removal for 1 hour is good enough, especially with faction wars as well. So that's something that I'll take into that. We don't need to talk about anything else on the run. This week we do around about 232. It wasn't a perfect run because I made a couple of mistakes, but to be honest, because it's just 1 key, I'm so focused on trials now. Everything else doesn't really tend to matter too much. I only care for legendary and the primal mats, mainly with the mythical mats. So that's my main thing, and I get another blue stone, which is, yeah, you know, is what it is, right? I guess it's the better one, the best blue stone out of all of them for the circle side, which is the turn me to boost one. Not like I need it anymore, I just sold like a ton of them. So I guess that's it. Let's go into the builds, and then we'll talk about all the builds, and then potentially a few ways where I might be able to increase my damage a little bit better, or to even increase the extra better RNG on the trials to make trials easier, or even to potentially even make my life easier overall in this team. Right then, so this is the build. So we got LYDIA and 9-piece protection, like I mentioned. We have got +4 fully awaken LYDIA, so you can say that's lucky, you can say that's unlucky. Before Chimera was out, I definitely didn't find that very enjoyable. So these are the stats on her. There is no relic, and there's obviously no arena bonuses in this team. If there was, I would be able to pump up my damage way more on her, and I think that she'll be a very key part of my team once there is a Chimera in the Great Hall, which hopefully release soon. So you can see here, I've got reasonable HP, reasonable defense. She needs to be the fastest in the comp. You can afford to be a bit slower as well. I want 100% critical rate, which is just a bonus, not needed. And the critical damage is a bonus, again, not needed. You just need to make sure that she has more than NEKMO, I guess, for that form. And then you can see here resistance and the defense as well. So the resistance and accuracy are needed to make your life easier. You can use 9-piece protection on like Duchess, etc., which will help. And then you could potentially try and get away with resistance. But I feel like with the accuracy and resistance and speed would be the main three, as well as the survivability of the team. And now, if you're struggling to get the resistance and you haven't used like Phantom Shogun oil and stuff like that, that can increase your build's survivabilities in your life. Also, I'm not using a relic, so there is potential other relics that you can use to help with the resistance requirements or even accuracy. So for the resistance requirements, you can use her. I've done this on a few takeovers with basic resistance on E1. And then you can do this with multiple teams as well to help out your life as well. And then also with accuracy, you can use the Molten Death Bow as well, which is a bit more accessible than the Epic one as well, because it's just in the clan group. So it is a lot harder to get. And yeah, I've only been able to collect one so far, and I've won multiple C. Cruelty for me is the way to go. There is potentially another relic that you could run depending on other factors, which would be the bounty, natural bounty. So the natural bounty has a chance to change the fear from a weak version to a strong version, which would help my team as well do more damage on the ram form. But because I use her in other areas like in my Trunda team and stuff like that, I do keep the cruelty, and also I do know it make my life harder on the lion form. So it's like, you know, make my life easier on one and then make my life harder on the other, because there is no other big factors of cruelty within that team that I can put in. I kind of like the brimstone. I'm a NEKMO with a 3-star. I kind of like my Tib presence. I'm a Duchess, so, and then Duchess not always hitting the boss because obviously you're using A2 and E3, so there is all these factors that I do take into consideration. It might be worth being tested though in the future when I have a bit more time on my hands, which at the moment I don't. These are the masteries that we're running as well, and LYDIA. So then we'll go into Duchess, again into 9-piece as well. You can see there's reasonable survivability with defense and HP, which would be quite key. Speed is going to be quite key at 325, but again, can be slower overall. And then you see here we've got 525 resistance. I do want a bit more resistance on my build. You can see we have got a relic on, which we'll talk about in a second, which is a really useful relic. So I'm using this relic because generally I used to die a lot on this team before I used to rebuilt the resistance. So against ultimate form, so I used to find that this was always nice to increase my turn meter on Duchess whenever the allies die, and the gemstones as well. I actually need to change this now because there is better options for this, and I will be updating this to a aspect of Seraph, which will be a little bit better for arena as well for my Valkanist team. I do have a aspect actually waiting for this somewhere on my account, yeah, there, which would be going on to Duchess as an update. The gemstones are very expensive to move. It's like 360 starstones, so I promised myself not to touch any relics or anything in the next 2 weeks. These are the masteries that we're running for arena, so you could take Unshakable. I use her for arena and other stuff, so I kind of just leave these masteries, but you could definitely take Unshakable as well. I'm not too sure of the new resistant requirements against the ram because it has been buffed overall on the accuracy side, so that might be something you'll need to check out. But again, you can add relics to help with that requirement. This is the Marius build. This Marius build is look like he's been eating steak for the last 3 years, and he's been pumped into stats and been pumped with them damage. Look at that critical damage number, which is, I think, is pretty impressive. Bear in mind, this is only a fully awakened. This is not a +4 or anything like that. So this is really at the top end of merciless. There is only one build I've seen a little bit better than this without empowerment. So that's one thing that I kind of would say. And this is why I don't run Stormcaller on my Marius, because I use it in Chimera. So a lot of people say to me on my live arena videos, Stormcaller, Marius, how can you not do it? Well, the Viper form will steal the buff and then stun me in return, so which is not great. It makes my life harder. And then also I lose the damage from Cat Gaze, which is also not great. So you can see here, this is what we're running. Here, again, no bonuses, and this is this. Now, 6 piece is fine as well. You will receive a lot less damage, or you can run Slayer 6 piece or 9 piece as well. For the relic, it would be Cat Gaze. Mine is a level 5, sorry, 15, 5 or 15, whatever you want to see it as. And then you can see that these are gemstones. Now, this gemstone I find is not very useful at all. Obviously, for Chimera, this is a live arena gemstone, so I need to swap that out. I actually find this gemstone really useful for the A1 when the Chimera has less HP, right? And it's the only time that works. So if you're going to use this gemstone, which it does stack, then you can do that. I'd use them on takers as well, but you need to make sure that ram form drops into a certain amount of HP. Then obviously Soul Reap doesn't really do much, to be honest, because you need your the Chimera to be a certain HP for this to work. So I've only seen it once really on one run to work, and I run my keys quite late, so I'd have to run it quite early. I'll probably get more damage, honestly, if I run my keys more early. I might have to test the ram. I don't know how the True Fear would work against the ram, so it has a 100% chance of placing True Fear debuff 1 turn if the target survives the reap. So potentially try and use this when we have a certain HP threshold to land this on the ram form, potentially. That might be worth testing, which might be quite useful as well. But to be honest, just take Crush and Rem. Like, if you want an easier life, 1 up to 5-star for me, Cruelty, and then 6-star Crush and Rem. It's just simple. I increase my damage by 30 million by taking Crush and Rem. I have Soul Reap for live arena. I'm P vs P player, so it's more important to me. These again are P vs P masteries. Probably not the best for Chimera, but they are the best for P vs P in my opinion. Obviously, again, it's just my opinion, right? That's where we have to respect. This is a 4-piece refresh and reflex. Again, I've tested with Relentless. We have double refresh as well. This is where I might try and sub in some blood shield to make my life easier. So we have good accuracy, good speed, good survivability. Now, if I had a like fully awakened +4, I would be also building out some critical damage and the resistance as well to again make my life easier. Then we have this relic, which can add some more survivability. You can see here we've added some gemstones as well, which is quite useful for the A1. And the second gemstone doesn't actually do anything. That was just put on for the showcase. And then we got Brimstone as well, which is the way to go. I really like this relic. I will probably be looking for 2 more to add to LYDIA and to maybe Cardiel as well, to give me a bit more RNG factor on my side. And then these are the masteries that we're running as well for NEKMO. And then we've got also we got Cardiel as well towards the end. These are the masteries. He has high resistance, so again it's kind of this, but he also has Phantom Touch for finite. So there's a lot of overlapping in my teams, so there is definitely room for improvement to increase the stuff again. If I didn't use them in finite, could use Cruelty if I had a 5 or 6-star, and then that would open up the LYDIA to be changed to the debuff that we mentioned earlier for the True Fear. And then obviously I'm just running this right now for the resistance, but in the future I potentially will change this for the relic that we just mentioned. And then these are the stats overall. So the resistance coming in at 545, speed coming in at 309, and then the defense and HP again to be reasonable, quite healthy there as well. And then I guess that's about it for the team. So do I find Chimera easy or not? I'll be honest, I don't think there's much of a difference, which is a subjectal thing to kind of say. I don't feel like it's much of a change. Like the lion form hasn't really been a problem for me. That one trial that I mentioned is when generally there's a problem, it still is a problem. It's just because I got good gear, I'm able to do it when I know others are not able to, and that's how I kind of feel. The RAM form, I mean, the trials have got a little bit less on acquirement, but honestly, with RNG and the rotation, they kind of all affect that, which is something that player room hasn't changed. So I don't feel like Chimera has been nerfed for my team or for me generally, and I don't feel like it's been buffed as well. So it's one of them ones on how you look at it. My opinion might change when I start doing some more takeovers and etc. And maybe I'll feel the full effects of the lion form, um, and etc. When I don't have this type of quality good gear available, which is quite honestly quite consistent with in-game accounts. There's also a bit of a difference between accounts I do takeovers on and one of my like people that generally need help are people that are struggling, kind of need their account pushed to that certain level when they're end game, and there is a difference between end game, end game, late end game, and then ultra end game. And I would say I'm at that threshold where I'm ultra end game, but not ultra kraken because I don't spend that much money. So I do spend money, but not much, right? So I've been playing this game a long time, and I have the time that a lot of people don't have, which is like 6 years of playing Raidshadowlegends, grinding, and etc. So I think all these factors kind of play into why maybe I feel like Chimera hasn't changed pretty much much at all, as well from my experience for running this. So it's kind of interesting. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. I know it's a long one. I appreciate you watching to the end. If you are, let me know. If say happy feet down in the comments if you're still watching this to the end. Anyway, that's it from me today. I don't know if there'll be any videos tomorrow uploading because it's my wedding anniversary. So potentially I will not be uploading at all on YouTube, depending on what my time's like today. So till then, I might see you guys on Wednesday. Hopefully you'll look after yourself and have a great week. I've been Grim. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.